I mean, I may be wrong in my, definite facts and of like what year that actually really started happening, but I think it just kind of started switching when the MC became a more marketable commodity than the DJ. It's a little bit harder to explain what the DJ does and sell that rather than sell the guy who's constantly saying something in your face and can be real flashy and have more of a realistic personality to market rather than a DJ who's you're not really sure what their personality is because they're not talking, they're playing music. You know what I mean? And even though it can shine through a little bit, it's just so much easier to sell a person when all they do is talk to you. That's what they do. You know what I mean? I don't really know what year that would have been. Like, what do you guys think? Like 93-ish or whatever.
Probably a little before that. Before that, I don't think it was necessarily a year. It was just kind of like post Rakim and KRS. Like even though it was Eric B and Rakim, like that was following that was like the MC's time to shine. That was just when the lyricists started coming out and like the focus kind of in a way deserved to be on the MC because that was the most exciting thing going on at the time. Like DJing, not to say that the underground DJs weren't making moves, but it wasn't until the mid 90s that they seriously took that shit to like another level. So, and that's when the DJ came back around.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all put together like a little list.
All right.
That's a hard question.
As far as the top 5 DJs are concerned for us, we tried to put together a combined list because this is a hard question. But I know my personal top 5 were Jazzy Jeff, and I don't want to say I don't want to act like I'm biased to Philadelphia DJs, but I mean Jazzy Jeff has consistently kind of raised the bar for DJing, and also he's every time I've seen him perform, even though he's been a household name for years all over the world and been on TV and so on, he still comes with his A game every single performance. Cash Money, I can say the same, although he may not be as much of a household name among average people versus the DJs, but he still, even over the many years he's been in the game, still comes with his A game every single time, and he never ceases to blow my mind with what he can do with the records. Plus, he always knows what's current, and that means a lot as far as DJing. Charlie Dark from London is my third, simply because he knows his records, he knows about all types of different music, and he always puts his DJ sets together in such a way where the people in the room can't even believe how he made, put his set together. My fourth pick was Cut Chemist from Jurassic 5, and that's based on his knowledge of records that were out before he was even born. It takes a special type of mentality to be able to find the funkiest records that only a few people know about and present them to people of this generation, and make the people of this generation love it, just as much or if not more than the people of previous generations may have. As well as he's a great producer too, but that's beside the fact. And also my fifth pick would be Revolution, DJ Revolution from the Wake Up Show, and that's because, especially in terms of his scratch composition, like if you listen to a lot of underground hip hop records that came out over the last, I guess I want to say 4 or 5 years or so, he's definitely raised the bar for that type of
the hook scratch.
The hook scratch DJ. But I mean he's also a great party DJ and turntablist. But I would say that in terms of what he does on songs is incredible to me.
He's never disappointed.
Yeah, he's
always
incredible.
Consistent. My list. Some of these are overlapping, so I don't want to give any further explanation for some of them. But I'll list the Grandmaster Flash first, just because he was, he's like the king of that shit. Herc started it, but he made it exciting. Like he stepped it up. I named Qbert for his scratch contribution. Rob Swift was always a big influence to me for the way he would break things down, and just his knowledge of the soul mixtapes and stuff. His knowledge of the breaks, and the way he composes mixtapes and stuff like that. And I listed DJ Craze because he definitely stepped the battle game up in the late '90s. Still, every battle DJ today tries to put together a set that sounded like Craze did in '98. So that's definitely, he's a big influence to me. And Jay Ski, just for as a steady, I grew up listening to Jay Ski, so he was definitely a huge influence to me.
I also listed Flash just as being one of the pioneers. I also had Cash Money on there because he's sort of made his reputation rocking parties and also as a technical DJ on the battle end. Jazzy Jeff, for all the reasons Static said of him being consistent, constantly raising the bar, always rocking, always bringing the A game. Qbert, because I felt like he took everything into a different direction and sort of made another type of music out of scratching. Big influence. I definitely think Qbert helped bring the DJ back to the forefront in some ways, not just in general music, but specifically hip hop. He kind of added another dimension to what the DJ could do, and just to bring someone into it who's newer, I have J-Rock on there because I've never been disappointed by anything I've ever heard J-Rock do in terms of rocking a party. He's always been able to do that consistently. He's just one of those DJs you always look forward to hearing play. So, big influence. And that's my 5.
First, I listed Kid Capri because he's just the ultimate at just taking one glance at a room and knowing exactly how he's going to structure the next 3 to 4 hours of music in order to make everyone in there lose their minds. And you know what I mean, in combination of what to say to him and what records to put together and how he has the ability to just command those people. And you could be the biggest I'm not a dancer kind of person, and you're going to be on the floor, you know what I mean, if he's playing. So I felt that was really important in order to set a standard for party DJs. And he also, he definitely wasn't whack on the wheels, you know what I mean. He did what he was supposed to do, and he was usually sharp. And any footage of that I saw of him. Qbert, of course, because he was just able to take the perspective of what the scratch is to a whole another dimension, and he's really helping the world's perception that to bring it to that perception that you can use the turntable as an instrument. And cats like Qbert are really big in that field. I listed Red Alert because he won't just play hip hop records. If he's DJing somewhere, he can cross not only genres of music but generations of music. He can play a party on all music that came out way before hip hop was ever even a thought, and still rock it. You know what I mean? He just has that. He has that ability and that knowledge of music that spans so many years, and that's huge. You know what I mean? Every DJ should be doing their homework. And also Masters at Work, Kenny Dope and Louis Vega, just because they're helping to set that standard for both production and for spinning live at events and really maintaining your status as a DJ to be reckoned with, a DJ that's that deserves the notoriety that they get. So Dave. Go ahead.
I mean, it's a lot of the same people. I would have to say Kenny Dope because from Masters at Work, because he can come and do hip hop, he can come and do house, he can bring all the soul and funk and breaks to the table, and he kind of helped make way for a lot of those different crowds to come together, and that's real important. Red Alert, not only like you were saying before, playing different music for different eras and everything, but also he was one of the first to really help make a DJ a personality. He was up on a lot of the records and everything, and I really don't have nothing profound to say about anybody, but and definitely Qbert, because he took scratching to a whole nother level, and I don't know, I don't really have nothing. I mean, he's really not hip hop. I was gonna say Larry Levin, but but like as far as breaks and as far as like soul music and house, I mean, he's doing what like people at the Shelter are doing now. It's like it's almost like a religious experience to go and hear Larry Levin play up in New York or whatever. I don't know, is he even live anymore? I mean, for me though, for real, it's like really hard to pick a top 5 because there's so many people, and like everybody does something a little bit different from the other person. Like, I mean, you can't compare Rob Swift to J-Rock. They may be from the same school, but Rob Swift brings one thing to the table, J-Rock brings something totally different. And the same thing with all these people is like everybody said is on my list. I don't know if everybody would make the top 5, but they're all on there. It's a tough choice.
That's a hard ass question.
Yeah, it really is.
And also one last thing I want to add. I want to just send much thank you to Grandmaster Flash, because he helped invent the mixer to what it is today. And if he didn't invent those couple of things on the mixer, I don't really know what we would be doing right now, because he made it possible for so many things to happen. So a lot of people don't, especially young cats, they don't really know that. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank you. That's another incredibly hard question to answer. But I mean, I guess fundamentally it would have to be Africa Bambaataa and Kool Herc. You know what I mean? Them two, along with the couple of the younger cats that were coming up with them, such as Jazzy J and Grand Wizard Theodore. Well, I mean, in terms of the scratch, definitely Theodore. But in terms of music, period, I think it was the efforts of Africa Bam that helped mold it from not being anything in terms of a culture that you can put your finger on, and helping to excel it and advance it to something that's you can definitely set parameters on hip hop culture, period. That's it. Bye. Cool.